The most disturbing revenge manga out there. Now, I love reading mangas, manhwas, webtoons, whatever, and I love the story where like the MC gets like bullied, he gets like harassed, and like he's basically weak, right? But then he glows up and throughout the story, and he gets his revenge. Something about that just appeals so much to me. I love reading revenge mangas. They're like the best, one of the best categories I love to read. And today we're gonna be looking at the most disturbing one. So let's check it out.
This is the worst manga I've ever read. It is so vile and disgusting in the acts it depicts that if I were to show it all, I'd get insta-banned off YouTube. And if you don't
Really?
trust me, the publisher legitimately took it off their platform because it was too extreme for them. Do you even know how messed up your story has to be for Japan of all places to
What?
go? Yeah, nah, we can't keep publishing that. But the story still didn't get axed. This manga
Bro,
puts
in Japan, yo, bro, Japan don't really ever have restrictions on the mangas or whatever, right? So I'm surprised they had a restriction on this, because in Japan they be putting out the most insane things, bro. Not just like in mangas, but like in H mangas. You know what? If you know what the H means, bro, you know. They be putting the most vile shit out there. How bad does something have to be for them to like ban this?
portrays some
Well,
of the
not ban
most
it, but
cruel
like
and
stop
despicable
publishing.
acts a human can commit through its main character, and then still expects you to view it as warranted retribution. I mean, these people had it coming after betraying the MC and being that bad of a person, so murdering them and committing the vilest of acts against them is only vengeance. The message and tone are just so off, but I guess it doesn't make sense to just tell you all this. You'll just have to see for yourself. The manga actually starts off pretty normal. The main character, who was isekai'd, is getting betrayed by his former party, and the princess, after becoming the hero and defeating the Demon King, which leads to his execution. So for now, all this is pretty standard. Except for the fact that his execution is getting eaten alive by rats and dogs. Huh. How lovely.
Damn,
And he then tells him if he can
damn.
kill them all while sleeping
No
tonight.
wonder he's on a
Pretty
hunger
basic.
for
Following
revenge.
that, he goes to the realm of the dead, where the goddess of love is waiting for him. And of course she fiends for him. So when he asks her to be reborn to take vengeance, of course she says yes. And he also gets his dark powers, which are basically a plot device. Well, back in Isekai land, we obviously have to make sure that the princess is hated and shown as the most despicable of humans. To make sure the reader won't feel an ounce of guilt when she's brutalized in the worst way possible. So of course, she beats one of her servants near death when she doesn't pick the right dress for a wedding. So she's getting married to bear an heir to make sure she stays in power. And of course she just has to say that if her baby were to be ugly, she would have to kill it. The author doesn't even try to hide that this is just glorified revenge porn. He makes the antagonist so
Bro,
cartoonishly that
literally
it's actually hard to bear. And
redo
of course
healer.
she's
Wait,
completely
what's the
disinterested
anime called?
porn.
Yeah, redo healer, bro. That shit is crazy. That anime is the most insane anime I've seen, because it's like a revenge anime. But the way he gets revenge, bro, he basically, it rhymes with grape. If you know, you know. It rhymes with grape. He basically does that to the people who did him wrong, bro.
Makes the antagonist so cartoonishly evil that it's actually hard to bear. And of course she's completely disinterested when people suddenly start dying in mysterious ways in her kingdom, and says who cares about these geezers. And in her first meeting with the hero, her immediate thought was, I want to defile him. Well then guess who appears on her wedding day? Raoul the hero, to exact his revenge. Oh, and he also kills people with his entrance, but then says, wait guys, they are bad people, you see, they falsely execute people and torture them by using waterboarding and crotch splitting. So me killing them is only a light punishment. Anyways, bro then also casually decapitates the royal guards too. Cool, I guess. He then strips the princess naked and says, you want children, don't you, princess? Well, then to justify what's
No.
about to happen to her, we need a tragic flashback, don't we? It shows the princess ordering a knight to kill his entire village as brutally as possible. She says skewer them, the women and the children too. And then she gushes over what kind of face rule will make. You know, because she just has to be batshit insane so her punishment can be so much worse. And
Bro,
we
but
then see a
redo
shocking expression
healer's the
as he
same
finds his
thing though.
village in
Why?
ruins and everyone he loves slaughtered. It's not just disgusting, it's also predictable and boring from a story point perspective. This is the storytelling equivalent of us making up stories about our Lego characters as kids. It's childish even though it's vulgar. It's predictable even though it's supposed to be shocking. It actually takes effort to write this badly. Like, how do you manage to make Redo of Healer seem like a genuinely good revenge story in
Redo healer.
comparison? That's depressing, you know? He then forces her knight to punch her a bunch.
Basically a
With dark
ripoff.
magic, I guess.
Is
And we
this
then
whole
go
thing is basically just a ripoff of redo healer.
back to see how happy Rue was with his older sister who got pregnant and was then skewered. And when he was captured,
Wait,
he asked
what?
to see how happy Rue was with his older sister who got pregnant and was then skewered. And when he was captured, he asked the princess what crime he could have possibly committed to warrant this. And then she says, your crime, haha, it was existing. What the fuck? Like, this is so trash, it's so over the top villainous. Following that, Rule has to control himself to not kill her, and only raptures her stomach, and then partly heals her because her dying this way would just be boring, and because he wants to do something much, much worse to her later on. Raoul then ends this quote-unquote performance by making a dramatic exit. He then visits his sister's dying place. After having hallucinations of her because he's gone mad, he says he isn't doing it for her or any cause. He also isn't doing it for justice. He simply wants to exact revenge, and while doing that, show no mercy. Whoa guys, that means everything is fine. He isn't doing it for justice. Good story then. Like, that changes 0% of the criticism. It's about the fact that the author tries to write every single villain in a way that is so incomprehensibly evil, just to make them deserve the most disgusting of treatments. Because if these characters had any depth to them, they couldn't have written this over-the-top revenge story. They actively refuse to write anything of substance, just so this can exist. And that is what makes me so mad. If this story had a villain that wasn't the worst of the worst, the audience wouldn't be able to think, yeah, the MC might do things that are insanely cruel, but at least the people that he's doing these things to are worse. It tries to dehumanize literally all of the characters just for that purpose. So this line doesn't give the story any depth whatsoever. And the most infuriating part is, from here on out, the things the MC does.
So basically, the whole manga is just basically we're introduced to a new character. There's a background on how disturbing or how vile the character is and how evil he is, right? And then the MC and what he did to the MC, and then MC getting revenge, doing the most vile and vicious things towards that saying so character. If it's just like a repetition of that, that's not really like, that's just, it gets boring, bro. Especially since like there's no development with the MC. There's no actual development. But the thing is, what I do hate is when there's like revenge stories. Well, they're not revenge stories, but like the MC like forgives the people who did him wrong. I hate stories like that. Because realistically, if someone did you so bad, why would you forgive them?
Times worse. We're then introduced to the general, his wife, and his two sons. And of course, they're cannibals who love hunting people for sport to then consume them. Yeah, and the two sons also enjoy
Those do
hurting
not
random
look like
animals.
sons.
So when the MC then kills the wife while the general is away on a trip, he makes the two sons strip her to a tree on her internal organs. Because the general also killed the MC's mother and stripped her to the tree in the same way. Yay, what a creative way to make him have a motive for revenge. And then again, have the general be this monster who enjoyed eating the MC's mother's tender meat so much. After cutting off the general's hands, we head to the probably most vile and stomach-churning part of the manga. It's hard to tell, but what they imply is that he makes the sons and the general eat each other. By
What?
first making the general eat part of his son, and then have the remaining son eat part of the general while still alive.
Bro,
And by
it's shit.
doing that,
Bro,
having them
this is not even a story. It's just like random, like the most graphic things happening.
they all die. Because after all is said and done, he says, it's over now that they're dead. Everything about this is just so grotesque and disgusting for the sake of it. There aren't any
I
deeper
never
themes or
heard
meanings
anything
behind
about
this.
that.
It's pure shock
Making
factor,
them,
nothing
making
else.
him
This
eat his
part
own
here just
kids.
shows how far the author is willing to take this
Hey,
spiel.
pause,
And who's
pause,
next? A
pause.
doctor. I wonder how this is gonna go. She definitely isn't going to be a mad scientist who uses her patients as test subjects for terrible experiments. Oh, what? No way. She did that? I didn't see that coming at all. And the first horrible thing we see her doing is to a kid? She must be a bad person. How do you make a character seem less than one-dimensional? Like, this is getting obnoxious. So yada yada, she's asked to create immortal soldiers. She makes the serum, which gives them superhuman strength, but also mutates and completely distorts their bodies. Though these effects can be reversed if one is given water. Oh, and the soldiers she gives that to are obviously affiliated with the hero. Cause why wouldn't they? It's kinda funny how the author is forced to create any reason for his vendetta against literally everyone. So they die because some random villagers wouldn't give them any water. I bet the MC isn't going to do anything to the villagers later on. Anyways, we can see how she's experimenting on people and how she's enjoying it. So the MC makes her play hide and seek, while he kills off every single researcher in the facility and turning them into monsters. Well, turns out the MC was hiding in plain sight. He catches her by surprise and then over the span of 17 hours, conducts a total of 42 experiments on her, ranging from taking drugs that make your skin erupt in rashes, that make you claw at yourself, to the same drug used on the soldiers. In summary, it's just more of the revenge power fantasy that culminates in her death. On to the random villagers that didn't give the soldiers water, because I guess every single character in this manga is either the personification of evil or the most pathetic being to have ever graced the earth. Even the goddess who saved him multiple times from death somehow ended up being the one responsible for all of this. Because we definitely can't have any morally gray characters in this. In this manga, it's either black or black. But not giving water to monsters isn't really enough. So let's make them crazy maniacs who prey on lost people. They first kill them and then take all their earthly belongings, even their hair, and then sell it. Yeah, now show a flashback of how the villagers were asking the dying soldiers for money if they wanted any water, and have them laugh maniacally. Yeah, this ought to do it. And now make their kids incredibly ugly. Yeah, wait, what? Look, to be honest, what annoys me the most here is not even how gruesome the revenge gets. It's how obvious the author is being. He's not trying to hide that he's dehumanizing every single aspect of these characters. So these kids really haven't done anything yet. The worst they want to do is kill the MC. So let's just make them the most ugly kids you have ever seen. So no one questions turning them into child soldiers. It's so on the nose that it makes you mad. Back to the other villagers. He makes them march for a long period of time, trapping them in this infinite loop, so they're dehydrated, even showing them illusions of their kids turning into monsters. Then he brings them to this village, where they're met with the same treatment they've shown the soldiers. The villagers then almost give them water, but turns out the two lost people they killed earlier were from this village, so they're stoned to death. The village chief begs for water, and the MC just asks, "How much are you willing to pay?" Oh my god, this is so cold, I literally got chills on my balls. Whatever. I also want to say the MC's abilities are also just straight up random assholes. So his dark powers allow him to read memories from corpses, he can control the actions of people, turn into other people, and he can also somehow cast a spell that keeps people from dying, that is later used for, you guessed it, ding ding ding, torture. Basically anything the MC needs is handed to him. You can't kill gods, well our guy just has this god killing item. I sure love it when the MC can just bend the plot to his will and face minimal obstacles. Also, even when he dies, he'll just be brought back again. Man, I sure do enjoy my manga when they have zero stakes.
Bro, so basically he just responds back, bro. He just responds back to a checkpoint, bro. Also, who be killing him though? Because it sounds to me like the MC is very OP. So who's OP enough to kill him? Exactly.
This is peak entertainment. Genuinely, who watches this and is like, yeah, my goat. Raoul. Now let's move on to the most grueling and abhorrent part. The actual revenge against the princess. So she's been torturing her knight who then goes crazy. The MC turns into the princess and tells the knight to kill all the rivals to the throne. Afterwards, the princess holds a public execution for the knight. The MC appears. And there are two more party members present that are probably gonna get killed in future arcs. But they abandon her because as it turns out, the king revoked the status of her being a princess. So her word doesn't hold any weight, and no one has to follow her orders anymore. So she is a full-blown crash out, and shows her true colors. And what does the crowd say? I kid you not.
Bro, this, yo, I'm not gonna lie. The person who did the drawer, bro, like the person who drew the manga, bro, is honestly carrying the writer, bro. Like the illustrator is carrying. He's game. He's fourth quarter Kobe, bro. Literally, bro. Like he's carrying the shit out of this manga writer, bro. Cause I'm not gonna lie, like these illustrations aren't bad. They're actually pretty good, bro. But it's just the story is so whack, bro. I hate when like illustration is wasted on the mangas that are like trash, and then mangas that are good have like the most shittiest illustration. Not all the time, but like I hate when stuff like that happens.
So she kinda ugly. Yeah, why did we follow her again? I can't even make up how badly the author wants to even make the citizens seem like bad people. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe they're killed later on or something like that. I don't even care. So she's then stabbed by a knight, but the princess can't die yet. Cause do you remember the mystery spell that doesn't let people die? Yeah, the MC doesn't want her to go just yet. Because we need one of the most disgusting panels I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I can show it uncensored. Instead I'll just describe it. So the MC strings her up on this cross. And then while she still can't die, he then summons all sorts of different animals. Like dogs, centipedes,
Don't tell me,
maggots,
bro.
rats, and even crows.
Oh, so they
to
eat her?
literally eat her alive. You can see them crawling around inside her, coming out of every
Oh.
orifice. And you can even see the crows picking out her eyes. Reading this genuinely got a visceral reaction out of me. And this story arc concludes by showing us that all of the people up until now have been hung up on crosses in a state that is best described as suspended animation, trapped in the moments of their death. This is chapter 32 out of like 120. And let me tell you something.
How the fuck did this get 120?
It's strange that this
120
somehow seems
chapters,
light
bro?
compared to the later stuff. This right here isn't anything akin to recommendation. There's literally zero reason to seek out this type of media at all. Well, I guess the art is pretty good, which in this case only makes this manga so much worse. This is a warning to anyone who may stumble across this manga and think of reading it. Don't. Because you're not gonna enjoy your time. It sucks as a revenge story. It sucks when it comes to character writing. It sucks when it comes to making an interesting power system. It even sucks when it comes to writing in general. It fails in every regard. This was one of the worst experiences I've had while reading something. Most of the time, I don't give serious ratings. But this is genuinely a 0 out of 10. I don't even know what.
Just don't read. Hey, that's. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The illustrator is that the only reason I can see this getting The reason why I got 120 chapters is because of the illustration. Like the illustration, if the illustration was shit, this would have been canceled by chapter 5. But the illustration legit, the illustrator legit carried the fuck out of the writer, bro. Because like when you do a revenge story, obviously like shit like that is kind of cool. But when it's like repeating things, bro, and you keep introducing new characters, and it's like the same cycle, get the most vile way to get revenge, it gets boring to a point, bro. It just gets boring, bro. Especially how many enemies this man and the MC has, bro. It's like so many people has done this man so wrong, bro. Hey, let me know what y'all want me to react to next, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Have a blessed day. Peace.